Good evening, friends. Today we look at the updates in the Jhanvi Kukreja case. Why some things just don't add up. Just as in the case of Shan Singh, there were several doubts that the public had after the murder because we knew that it was not a suicide and because nobody saw him hanging. And the cloth that they said that he had hung on was also a very flimsy one. Here also, in this case, there are a lot of points that just don't add up to Janvi's very brutal death. Coming from her parents, Jhanvi has been projected as a very kind soul who used to help others, who was intelligent and very clear about what she wanted to do in life. So it could not be, as some media claim, that it was because of a love affair. It seems too flimsy a reason for her to fight with her friends. And please bear in mind, friends, that all this is available in public domain, in media. According to the CCTV footage, obtained from the lobby of Bhagwati Heights, 22-year-old Shri Jogdankar rushed out of the building at around 2 a.m. on the night of January 1st, 2021. The police say the footage shows this. We are only saying what the police has informed. The footage was with the police, Mumbai police. The footage, according to them, shows Jogdankar's hands and clothes covered in blood, his shirt torn. At the time, the car high-rise was already a site of murder. The body of Jhanvi Kukreja, 19 years, lay in a pool of blood on the ground floor. The police were yet to arrive. Several hours later, and we don't know why the watchman was also not available, and he did not hear any of the cries that would have happened or the shouting or whatever happened during the party. Several hours later, Jogdankar and another friend of Kukreja, Diya Padalkar, also 19 years, were arrested by the car police for murder. This is alleged murder. It can't be murder, so the police can't say that it's murder. Media reports claim that both Jogdankar and Padalkar were close friends of the victim, and the three of them had gone to Bhagwati Heights to attend a New Year party organized by a friend, Yash. However, during the event, a scuffle broke out between the three, and eventually Kukreja was found dead on the ground floor by a resident of the building who had stepped out to walk her dog in the wee hours. Now, Kukreja's mother, Nidhi, claims that CCTV footage gave important evidence of Jogdankar's involvement in her daughter's death. In an interview, she said to News 18, she said, "I've been informed that in the lobby's CCTV footage, she was seen walking out at 2:15 a.m. from the staircase where Jhanvi was found murdered and not from the lift. The footage shows blood on his hands and shirt, which was torn. After leaving the building, the footage from the road camera suggests that he walked up to 1 kilometer and hailed a cab," she added. Now, this is, she has not seen the CCTV footage herself. She says that she was told by the police. So now this is the police's version of what happened. Now, moving on to the lawyer. However, lawyer Mahesh Vaswani, who is representing Shri Jogdankar, said that the same footage, in fact, can be the key to prove the discrepancies in the case against his client. Sometime around 2 a.m., my client left the party. He was spotted in the CCTV footage with a 8-inch long injury on the rear side of his head. After leaving the building, he went to Sion Hospital to get his wounds treated. While he was still at the hospital, he received a call from another friend who said that Jhanvi was badly hurt and that the matter had gone to the police. So he went down to the car police station at around 5 a.m. He was arrested later that day, said the lawyer. Before going to the quarantine center, Jogdankar was admitted to Cooper Hospital for injuries. Now, listen to the kind of injuries that this boy had. It included fractures on the rib, a dislocated spinal cord, plus this 8-inch wound at the back of his head. Now, the lawyer says, Vaswani says, all these injuries do not appear to be self-inflicted at all. So apparently something happened to him. Vaswani added, pointing out that his client is physically big and it's unlikely that Jhanvi Kukreja had inflicted these injuries during their fight. So maybe something else happened that is yet to be found out. I'm sure the police are going to dig out the details during the investigation, the advocate added. Now, this report came out on January 30th, which is just a few days back. The case is currently under investigation, due to which the senior police inspector Gajanan Kabdule refused to comment on it. So far, the police have recreated the crime scene with dummies, collected fingerprints, nail clippings, and hair and swab tests of the accused. Both Jogdankar and Padalkar are currently in judicial custody. Until now, there has been no reports of any confession from either party. However, during a remand hearing, a senior IO told the court that Padalkar has begun cooperating with them. On the surface, it seems like a difficult case to crack, with many missing links, discrepancies in witness statements, and absence of eyewitnesses. However, for the police, the key concern is to ascertain the motive behind this gruesome crime. Now, why was Kukreja killed? According to the report, Padalkar and Kukreja had been friends, best friends, and neighbors for 14 years. Both girls were often in and out of each other's homes. This was narrated by the mother in several TV interviews as well. Padalkar's parents went to sleep around 10 to 10:30 every night. And Padalkar would regularly stay with us, the mother said, Nidhi. Jhanvi would make her sit and study. She would give tuitions to her younger brother. During the lockdown, the colleges were shut. So Jhanvi and Diya started a baking business. She used to put energy into positive things, she added. Nidhi has been having a very hard time to understand why her kind and loving daughter was so brutally killed. Initially, media reports claimed a love angle. Several accounts said that Jogdankar was in a relationship with Jhanvi Kukreja and was seen getting close to Padalkar during the party, which infuriated Jhanvi. She confronted Jogdankar and a fight broke out between the three. However, Nidhi has denied the claims and said Jogdankar was just another friend. Yes, was just another friend. So, what Nidhi says is that I request everyone to give her respect in death. Why put romance and love in her death? It is a case of friendship gone wrong. Now, Padalkar's lawyer, Ashok Mishra, who says his client was not in a relationship with Jogdankar. So, this is the second person who is saying that. She met Jogdankar for the first time in September 2020. So, there is no scope. They knew each other for a long time. And her mobile records and chats have been taken by the police, but nothing is there. Not even a single discussion on that angle, he said. Jhanvi's parents claim that Shri and Jhanvi were not in a relationship. If so, then it solely goes on to prove that neither of them, the two, would have a motive to hurt her, he added. Currently, the Kukrejas are waiting for the police to interrogate the two accused and find out more details regarding the death of the daughter. Now, the blind spot. Talking about the blind spot, while the motive is yet to be ascertained, another crucial link missing from the case is the exact whereabouts of two accused during the murder. Jogdankar's lawyers claim he has no memory of how he got hurt and what he was doing during the period in which Jhanvi was murdered. Now, this is something that viewers, you need to listen to very closely, these points. He said that he doesn't remember what happened because he was out of his senses. He doesn't remember anything about the fight, too, said Vaswani. The last thing he remembers is being in a fight. After that, when he regained consciousness, he found himself bleeding and badly hurt. So he called a friend and went to Sion Hospital, he added. Padalkar, too, had a similar blind spot. According to her lawyer, Ashok Mishra, Padalkar had only tried to help. She told me that there were no lights on the staircase. In the staircase in the building. Jogdankar and Kukreja were arguing, and she went to intervene because Kukreja was a good friend. During the intervention, she suddenly felt someone hit her on the face hard. She lost her balance, fell and hit the ceiling, and started bleeding profusely. She went down to the second floor to her friend's house, which is Yash, the host's house, who had organized the party. As soon as she reached there, she fainted. There was blood on the bed on which she fell unconscious. Someone must have called the other friends from the terrace. They came downstairs and helped her clean the wound. But the bleeding didn't stop. So they called her dad and told him that they were taking her to Hinduja Hospital. She was accompanied by her friends. That is what the CCTV footage shows. added Bishra. Now, it isn't just Padalkar and Jogdankar, though. No one in the whole building where a New Year's party was taking place on the top floor apparently heard anything. This is very strange. There are no eyewitnesses to the crime. Considering the fact that there was a party and there were around 12 or 13 people there. And Kukreja's friends from the party either not, they also are not speaking. They say they don't remember anything or did not witness or hear anything. This is all very strange. Nidhi said that the postmortem report shows that her daughter had sustained 48 injuries, the main one being the skull injury. There were tufts of her hair everywhere. It seems she was dragged down with a lot of force, and every floor had blood, and her skull was literally in two pieces. What I don't understand is what was the rage about that led to such a brutal crime, and how come no one saw or heard anything, she asked. Here, I would also wonder why a person like Shri would assault her 48 times. And that too, really brutal, violent. Now, we don't know his character as well. Among those present at the party, 5 girls are from our complex. They've all grown up together with Jhanvi. Nobody came to help her. I don't understand. There were so many others at the party. Why they did not help? Asked Kukreja, Jhanvi's mother. The Kukrejas have been asked not to contact those present at the party during the investigation. Why, I do not know. An eyewitness's absence may work in Jogdankar's favor, but his history of short temper doesn't, according to Ganesh Gupta, a lawyer from Vaswani's team defending Jogdankar. The police have also discovered a few incidents against him. You can, viewers, just note this bit as well. And therefore, their line of argument is that he is very hot-headed. So he might have assaulted the deceased. However, Gupta added that it was a futile attempt to paint his client in a poor light. Gupta said that, told News18.com that Jogdankar is currently lodged at Taloja jail, where he was sent for judicial custody on January 14. We had filed an application that allowed him to read books in jail because his exams are coming up. And we asked that he be given appropriate medical treatment, added Gupta. There is nothing in the remand application to connect him to the crime. Therefore, hypothetically, if it can be proved that Shri is guilty, then at the most it would be under 304 of the IPC, because there was no intention to murder, only knowledge, he said. So far, there has been widespread reports that all the party attendees were heavily intoxicated and under the influence of drugs. However, a media report by India Today has contradicted this in a report which says no drugs or alcohol traces were found on the accused. But now, after what Rajdeep Sardesai has written about the farmers' agitation, I don't no longer give too much of relevance to India Today's report. Advocate Trivan Kumar Kamani told News 18 that whether drugs and alcohol were consumed is subject to the investigation by the police and will come to light once they prepare their charge sheet against the accused. But so far, it has been revealed that Jogdankar has a criminal history. It has come to light in the remand applications that a drug dealer had been arrested for supplying drugs to one of the attendees of the party. This has even been reported by the police in a separate case filed by the police under the NTPS Act, said Kamani. For the Kukrejas, the only thing that matters now is getting justice for their daughter. Currently, nothing is right in the household. The light of their lives has suddenly been snatched away, and for the parents, it feels like they have lost a lifeline. My husband and I are taking this seriously because we do not want any parent to go through this. We know that it feels like to experience this. She had just started her life. She did everything right. Today's girls know how to take care of themselves. It's the boys who have to be taught, she said. Jogdankar's lawyers are currently gearing up to apply for his bail at the Sessions Court, which Karnani has said they will vehemently oppose. According to Karnani, both Jogdankar and Padalkar are facing charges under Section 302 R/W 34, which is murder committed in furtherance to a common intention of the Indian Penal Code 1860. Meanwhile, in another report, it is reported that Mumbai police accused Sri Jogdankar of a violent streak. The two friends, Sri and Dia, accused were arrested for allegedly killing 19-year-old Jhanvi at a party, and they have been remanded in judicial custody. The accused were earlier remanded in police custody for 13 days. The investigating officer of the murder case told the court that Jagdankar had a previous criminal case against him for assaulting a pawn shop owner a few years ago, which proves that he had a streak of violence. According to statements of Jagdankar's friends, he was short-tempered and got into fights often. One of Jagdankar's friends said in his statement that he was not shocked when Jagdankar came with cuts on his body as he got into fights earlier too, said a police officer. Now, these are all police reports. Khar police had presented the post-mortem report of Kukreja's body, stating that she had 48 wounds on her body, including a skull fracture, which led to her death. Officers suspect the railing on the staircase of the building was a weapon, as the couple allegedly banged Kukreja's head against it. Now, nobody's seen them bang it, but police are saying this. The police feel that this could be the case. The police have found bloodstains on the railing. However, the forensic report says recently that there was no alcohol in the blood. The postmortem report further stated that she had injuries on her legs caused by dragging and injuries on her hip due to fisticuffs. Advocate Thrivan Kumar Karnani for Kukreja's parents urged the court maximum opportunity may be given to the police to complete custodial interrogation, and we must not incapacitate them. Now, the accused number one, which is Sri, will be sent to Taloja. This is the earlier report. So now both of them are in jail, while Sri is in Taloja and Diya is in Baikula jail. Police sources also said that Yash Ahuja, who had organized the party, had bought drugs from a supplier in Bandra for the party. The supplier was arrested by Khar police in a separate case with 150 grams of MD. We are now waiting for the medical reports of our party attendees to confirm the consumption of drugs, as we did not find any at the party or at the murder spot, said the police. Now, my question as a journalist is, why is Yash Ahuja and the other people at the party not being questioned? Especially Yash's parents. Somehow, my gut feeling is that this seems like, the first point is that they are trying to build a case against Sri by saying that he has a violent streak. Now, why would they build a case against, Sri like this, unless they want to project him as very brutal? And another gut feeling is that this seems like a pre-planned murder for something more devious, as it was, and I have mentioned this earlier also, as it was in Sushant's case. Why is the police so hasty in building a case against Sri? That he had a violent streak in such a manner that the violence used against Jhanvi was justified? If what the police is building up is going in the right direction, how come he had an 8-inch wound at the back of his head, spinal injury as well as other injuries? His lawyer clearly states that Jhanvi was too small to retaliate in this manner. So then who hit him? And why did they both of he and Diya, again, Diya also got hurt. How did they go blank? So then, and she went down to the second floor where she, was bleeding constantly. Now, if the two friends say they did not know exactly what happened, could it be possible that people at the party were drugged so heavily through their drugs that they did not know what was happening? And were there strangers in the party, who were the ones behind this crime? Now that the forensic report says there were no traces of alcohol, I'm surprised, because it's strange that, normal people who do not drink or take drugs would have behaved in this manner. Now, can we trust the forensic report? I don't know. Was this a murder? Was this murder a part of something that was devious, as in screening this live on the dark web for huge amounts of money? Could it be similar to what happened to Sushant, where inhumane people from around the world were watching a live murder and paying heavily for it? Shouldn't these kind of things should be investigated by the police? because it seems highly unlikely that three friends would become so violent that they would get into such a gruesome murder where a girl gets her skull gets broken and she gets so many injuries, and they in turn get terribly wounded. Only thing I can say is my heart goes out to parents, her parents, who know media and police are perhaps playing and building stories about their daughter having an imaginary affair with Shri and having been caught with Divya in a compromising position which led to the fighting. The mother clearly states Jhanvi was study oriented and wanted to go for further studies to Australia. Even if what some twisted media, as you would say, fake media, is saying is true, and suppose a fight ensued, this barbaric way of killing her cannot be attributed to a boy they had known for some time and a friend who she had known her whole lifetime. Somewhere, I believe, public and parents are being fooled in a cover up in the same manner that happened to Sushant, where perhaps character assassination is happening. On what basis were the two people arrested? Was there proof? They had not even confessed. Despite that, they have been put in jail. And moreover, the mother also has not seen the CCTV footage. So she only knows what has been reported to her by Mumbai police. Now, how come Yash's parents are silent about what happened at the party? There is something very devious happening here, friends. Now, another point that I wanted to tell you is another story. Viewers, while researching through these stories on Jhanvi Kukreja, I found another strange death happened to a person called Sanjay Kukreja. I was reading a report by Nation Next dated December 3, 2016. Now, I don't know, maybe the surnames are similar. I don't know if they are related in any way. Anyway, Sanjay Kukreja was well known as a Nagpur event organizer and celebrity manager. They say, died due to suicide. Anyway, his death was rather curious as I saw his pictures with many of the Bollywood people like Mahesh Bhatt, and he was also working for Balaji Entertainment, which is Ekta Kapoor's company, as you know. Sanjay Kukreja committed suicide at his Mumbai residence in Andheri on December 1, 2016, according to the police, at around 8 p.m. The reason for the suicide is not known. He was described as a very nice person who helped a lot of people and did charity quietly. A man who rose up the hard way and started an institute for artists called Kalakruti Sanstha, which became very successful. If you check the web, you will find that an unknown blogger has said that in fact, he helped not only him, but many other people, and he used to do charity very quietly. Sanjay, along with his brother Mahesh Kukreja, had been working in the events industry for many years. Both the Kukreja brothers had been managing Balaji Entertainment, an event management firm that comes under Ekta Kapoor, which is primarily into movie promotions and Bollywood events across many cities. Sanjay had coordinated many star visits to Nagpur, including Salman Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, and Amir Khan. He was also part of a B Live music company whose co-founder was Suraj Singh, whom you remember seeing with Riya Chakravarti at the mortuary. Suraj Singh, who was connected earlier with Balaji Productions in Dubai, as well as director of MS Dhoni Entertainment. The man who was later seen with Sandeep Singh at the mortuary. Now, the unknown blogger who had felt his good influence has written, it's impossible that this man would have committed suicide. So what really happened? This is food for thought, viewers. There are so many deaths that are dismissed as suicide, when no real reason is proved for their death. Everything seems more and more murky. Please send me your valuable comments and suggestions, and please subscribe if you have not, and press the bell icon and share it with your friends. Friends, also note that we will be following this case closely as we have been following Sushant's case. So you can look forward to more updates on this in the coming sessions. Thank you so much and good night.